Welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. If you are a sports bettor, this is the most important hour of your day because the number one sports consultant in America has brought his national radio show and podcast here to YouTube. So while you're here, go ahead and like and subscribe or download the podcast and listen on your schedule. And now, here is our host, the number one sports consultant in America, ready to make you money this week and every week, the Fat Jack.
Hello and welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, the Fat Jack. The weekend is here. I am in Munich, Germany. Brandon's in Louisville, Kentucky. We're coming off another winning week. College basketball started. November is going great. The season has gone wonderful, and we are absolutely dialed in. Let's get you ready to make some money this weekend. Let me bring in my co-host. I'm going to need him this week. This is a long way from home, from Louisville, Kentucky. Mr. Brandon Rush, how are you, buddy?
I am well. The weekend was incredible. Not only do we have the World Series wrapping up, but incredible football games in the NFL and college. The Breeders' Cup was fantastic. And oh, by the way, college basketball is underway. This is absolute mecca for sports betting, and it's a great time to be involved with the service and really to be a sports fan.
Yeah, profit builds up really quick this time of year. $3.99 for everything football through the end of the month. $4.99 football and hoops to the end of the month by the time the weekend gets here. So a great time to get dialed in. If you've been losing on your own, guys, especially if you've been listening to this show, now's the time. Go to fatjacksports.com. Get signed up. Last week was a really interesting mixed bag, Brand. I have a couple of these every single year, and it's so funny. I mean, just the emails I get that I rarely read,
right?
Because I don't care about. We're going to talk about Munich. We're going to talk about the game coming up in Germany. I have a progress report on this country, and a lot to get to. But I do want to start with last week. Last week was interesting. You know, on Saturday we had won all week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Pretty much every week, every night of the week in football we had won. Basketball broke about even, which is fine. Those games are $20 a week or so. So we're up going into the weekend. Saturday rolls around. We lost two games by a total of 2 points. We had Air Force, and then we had a total that went under by a point. I'm going to look it up so I can be exactly right. Air Force minus, and by the way, we pushed on the day. I mean, we lost a half a unit because the selections lost more than the one, and the opinions won one more than they lost. So down a half a unit, not a big deal. We had won all week. The total was a North Carolina game. Goes to 59 was the total. The thing goes to 62. I'm somewhere in there, 61, I believe. The Air Force game, they're given 7. They win by 6. The other loss was the Florida State total to go over. They had 34 points at halftime. The total was 51.5. I didn't get over. No, like I say, no big deal. Nobody cares. If you're a seasonal client, you're winning. You're a monthly client, everybody's winning. You're a daily client, you lost half a game. Right. Sorry. When you lose 2 games by a point, you might lose a little money. Just a tiny bit, not much. $100 player loss, $50, whatever. Sunday rolls around. We had a real bad loss in Carolina. That was an opinion. We had a real easy win in New England under, which was an opinion. And then we had a bunch of games that came down right on the number. Had Washington. We had Tampa. We had the Chargers. All kind of right around the number. When I released them, if you played them all then, when I told you to release them or waited, you won. You won actually all those. But it's funny that what gets this, the emails I get were very spread out. I had a couple guys tell me how horrible I was. I was the worst in the world. A horrible weekend, blah, blah, blah. Delete, move on, don't even, whatever. You're an idiot. I don't care. Then I had 2 or 3 guys say, Jack, incredible weekend. Great job. I'm making money betting on sport. But the same picks went to everybody. It's not like I switched the picks. Everybody gets the same picks. They're the ones I'm playing. The reality is it was somewhere in the middle. But it's interesting to see the reaction. And by the way, last week we were 9-2. I got no emails of anything. No good. No, I don't want any. Please don't email me. If you're a client, don't email me. Just take your money. Enjoy your wins. Enjoy that you're making money betting on sports. And move on. I don't need emails either way, but I thought it was kind of a reflection of how the weekend went and the fact that the emails varied so much.
Yeah, and I think that comes and goes. It especially comes in waves that, especially in a weekend like last week, you have the time change. You know, it will fall back. There's less sunlight now. So people are already looking for a reason to be mad. And then they go out and you have a push week. If you've line shop, like you probably should, if you're playing anywhere, that has sports gambling, you probably have more than one option on where you can place bets. If you're not doing your due diligence to be like, hey, this book has this line for 3.5, and this one has it for 2.5, and you're choosing not to play the better number, you need to help yourself. So a lot of the hate is probably misdirected, and
it's all misdirected. I didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
By the way, I'm not curing cancer. All I'm doing is giving out winners on sporting events.
Right.
In a sport, in a world where less than 3% of the public that even tries to make money wins, we are up thousands and thousands of dollars if you're a client. So yeah, I'm not sorry about anything. I'm not sorry about any of it. But so it's all misdirected. If I go 1-9, I'm sorry. Even if, like I say, even if I had the year I've had, we'd still be up 30 games if I went 1-9. So what?
Yeah.
But if I do, I'm a little sorry. If I break it, and by the way, I'm not asking people to shop lines. If you want to just get it and bet it, go right ahead. But understand lines are going to move. And sometimes they're going to work for us. Sometimes they're going to work against us. That may affect your bottom line on a short sample size. Long term, it won't. But short term, yeah, it might affect it a little bit. But excited about the weekend. I'm also, what else I'm excited about, Brandon?
Being in Germany?
I'm working into it. Germany has been an interesting deal. We're going to talk about that after the break and get into the game here and all that. I'm excited that the political ads are over for now.
Cool. You are not kidding. And as someone who does commercial voice work and puts commercials together for clients, I am very glad that I don't take on any kind of political ads, because those are absolutely obnoxious and annoying. And I just want to watch Wheel of Fortune. Can I watch LSU Alabama or some other game and not be inundated with, well, I'm an upstanding person? No, you're not. You're running for office. You're not curing cancer.
Oh, I wish you were getting upstanding person. You're not getting up. There's nobody tells you anything good about themselves.
No.
You talk bad about the other person. It's like middle school. That's all you do. I heard my favorite one, and then we're going to move on to something. We're going to give away a free winner, get to the German game, all sorts of things. Lots of things going on. Excited in sports, but I do want to. My favorite out of Nevada, only on the radio, because they're not running. Nevada's a big swing state. Governor's a heated deal, and they got congressmen or senators. They're all battling back. I mean, everybody hates everybody. They don't say anything nice about themselves. Only mad about the other person, because that's the only way, I guess, you get people out of their chairs, out of their lazy boys to go vote, is talk bad about the other person. My favorite one, and this guy's like running for county commissioner in Nevada. He can't afford to get on TV. You can't get a TV ad if you're running for county commissioner. There's not enough money in the world. You don't have a PAC behind you. You just
that would be your entire marketing budget. So
this was the ad, Brandon. I heard this on the way doing the TV show last week. Dangerous Drew Johnson loves internet porn. Wants to build more strip clubs in our community and believes it will cut down on sexual assault. If you love internet porn, vote for Dangerous Drew Johnson. If not, vote for me. This is endorsed by blah, 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 blah. I want to throw up in my mouth. That was the ad.
It's amazing.
He's running for county commissioner. I don't know if he likes internet porn or not. I don't know how she knows. I don't think he ever came out of the record. So, what'll really stop some sexual assaults?
More porn.
Build some strip clubs.
Right.
That's what we'll do. We'll have them take their aggressions to the strip club. I mean, that's just so funny. What's happening? What is happening to the world? I'll be interested to see if he won or not. I wrote it down.
People wonder why our government is so screwed up right now. It's because we're running political ads like this instead of actually trying to solve problems.
Everybody gets a nickname, by the way. Sassy says Susie Lee. Spendy Susie, it's just all you get a stupid middle school nickname, and then you get a bunch of stuff that may or may not be truth. And I'm glad we move on. Listen, I understand. I work with people who run TV stations, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you own a TV station in Nevada, you're buying yachts in Greece right now.
If you're an ad salesperson at a TV or radio station in Ohio, Florida, number of states, you love this time of year.
You don't even have to do your job. Don't go sell it. Just sit back and answer the phone. Right. I've got $89 million, and I want to talk about Dangerous Drew Johnson's internet porn love. I mean, that's literally what's going on up to live. Now we get back to, we got toe the note, sale of the century, come buy a car here today. We'll get those ads now. So if you want to hear ads, tune in here. The only people we endorse are this service is going to make you money, and about 3 businesses or 4 businesses that absolutely are worth every penny if you go in and shop with them. I mean, I don't put people on this show. You can't pay me enough. I have people call every week and say, "Hey, Jack, I want to advertise." If I don't use your product, by the way, we're full. But if I don't use your product, don't even.
Not even trying. In fact, I'm taking advantage of a couple of our advertisers this weekend because I'm going to a wedding in Oklahoma.
Very nice. There you go. Well, you know what? If I was not here in Germany,
right,
I would be getting you a gift card. You know what? I'll try to work that out anyway.
I still have some from last time, so I haven't used them all. We're good.
Use those. If you're not in town doing that, go to fatjacksports.com, get signed up. We're going to have another great week. It's really nice when a bad week is because of 2 or 3 1-point losses and we still don't lose money. I mean, those are the bad weeks. So far, this year has been great. We may have a bad week. And if we do, I'm going to come on here and we're going to talk about it. I mean, to this point, we're heading into the middle of November. We've not had a bad week. I mean, we've not had a 4-9 or a 5-10 or something. And we had none of that.
When you have a week like that, where you had 2 games that lost by a combined 2 points, and a couple others that really came right down to the number, that has to make you feel better knowing that you had the right side of it. You just got one little unlucky bounce. I would, if I were me, I would rather lose a game like that than lose a game by 30.
From a handicapping standpoint, you're exactly right. I am only interested in how things happen, not what happens. I obviously want to win more than I lose, but I'm way beyond that. I'm way into profit. I've been doing this 27 years, made a ton of money. So if I have a bad beat or a lucky win, whatever, throw it on the pile or take a little off the pile. I'm not going broke either way. I'm not going to, I'm building profit like I have 27 years. But I evaluate every game based on how it happened. Did I win? And it's not so much, is it close or not? It's, did I win the turnover battle? Did my team turn it over 4 times? Or did the other team turn it over four times? Those go in the luck category. Because if you get, and you can't predict that, they're going to have good luck, bad luck. But if you get a team that goes, and this is a good example, the Green Bay game. So you have Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Green Bay gets down the first 2 drives inside the 5-yard line and throws the ball. The other team turns it over. All right, so at that point right there, you probably, if it's anybody other than Aaron Rodgers, you turn the TV off.
Right.
Because you're done. You're just not going to get enough possessions. The league is too evenly matched to come back from that. You think you might be able to with Aaron Rodgers, but the reality is, if that happens in the NFL, you're probably going to lose that game. So it's okay. When you go long-term, you're making money. You understand. Shrug your shoulders. But if I lose a game like that, then I think, you know what? Next time he probably won't throw 2 interceptions in the end zone and do those things. If I had the other side of a game like that, then I'm like, you know what? It really benefited me that they didn't get at least 10 points out of that, which they normally would on average. It benefited me to have the other team. So you're going to have good and bad luck, but I do evaluate those things. If I lose like Carolina, that's bad handicapping. It is my fault. That's on me. But as many times I give Carolina, I'm going to give under the total in the New England game. I'm going to give Air Force under 40. You don't have to watch these games. Auburn plus 13, they won. I mean, those are more times than not. Those are the game. Notre Dame. You got Notre Dame on Saturday. They won straight up, beat the you-know-what out of Clemson. Yep. So you're more times than not, you're going to get those wins. But, yeah, you're exactly right. It does depend on how you win as much as that you win or lose, because you got to be critical about yourself. If you're off, why are you off? What's going on? This year, we're not off. We are on. Go to fatjacksports.com, get signed up today, and start winning. $3.99 through the end of the month. Games coming up this weekend, Brandon. What jumps out at you first, and where do you want to go?
I mean, the college slate, Texas and TCU probably is, if not the marquee game of the weekend, is probably one of the most important because of things that happened last weekend. You get Tennessee losing, you get Clemson losing. They kind of take themselves, at least for the time being, out of that top 4 conversation. Now TCU sort of that next tier of team that has to quote unquote prove it, even though they're undefeated to this point in the season. Going to Austin, if they can get a win there, I think that solidifies their spot in that top 4 conversation for a lot of people around the country. So I'm very interested to see what they can do, especially as an underdog, as the potentially a playoff team as a road underdog. I'm very excited to see what that looks like.
If Tennessee falls out of the top 4, I'm going to lose my mind. I went on all over the country last week and flat out said, if this team goes, even if they lose by 3 or 4, this team belongs in the top 4. Their body of work is so much better than not only TCU, but a number of other teams. Losing to the defending national champions and the number 1 team in the country on their home field is not a slap on them. No. And by the way they did it was very competitive. And I'm not a Tennessee volunteer. I don't care. I'm not a fan, but I honestly, and by the way, Vegas lined up. We had Tennessee play TCU right now. Tennessee would be about a 10-point favorite.
Easily.
It wouldn't even be close. So don't talk to me. TCU may go undefeated, and I know it's not you, but if you're out there and you believe, well, that team's undefeated, I don't care. If you're going to apply the eye test to teams like Alabama and Georgia, when they stumble, when they have a bad, you give them a pass. This Vols team is already beaten. By the way, I don't want to hear anything about Alabama. I don't care if Alabama, I don't know what they could do if there's even mathematically possible. I do not. If they're in the playoff, I'm going to lose my mind. I may start picketing or something. I mean, I'm going to do something very, very upset. Of course, that may be German talking too. So I'm not Oklahoma or America Jack right now. I am Germany Jack, which after the break we'll talk more about that and get into that. I think there's a couple of interesting spots, not near the marquee games as last week, but you do still have some great games. Some of those rebound spots. You talk about Tennessee playing a Missouri team that's been pesky. Missouri's been really good. They were good against Georgia up in the second half for a little bit.
Should have beat Kentucky last week.
Should have beat Kentucky. They had another game they lost. What was it, Ole Miss or Mississippi State? Somebody that they fumbled going into the end zone. Then in overtime, they missed like a chip shot that literally you or I could hit. Those type of things. You got this LSU team that just really got it done. Now they go play an Arkansas team as a 3-point favorite on the road. And yeah, you beat Alabama, but a lot like we talked about Tennessee after they beat Alabama, you have to pronounce it. This is exactly that spot. By the way, kudos to you. It gave out Arkansas losing straight up last week to Liberty, which is exactly what happened. If you listen to our podcast of the show, you got that one for free. That was a plus 450 underdog that won straight up and wasn't even close. This Arkansas team's been really tricky to figure out. They're really hard to handle defensively because offensively their quarterback's big, he's athletic, he's fast, and has a decent arm. Now they're at home in Fayetteville where everybody there's insane and on moonshine. You got LSU coming in, 10th team in the country coming off a big win. They're normally teams after Alabama are beat up.
Yep.
And they're a 3-point favorite going on the road. So we're going to learn a ton about LSU. That's not out of that conversation either. In the SEC, one of those teams we talked about, Notre Dame last week, that has that upward trajectory simply based on the coaching change and the transfer portal and the new climate and things going on there. Well, LSU falls exactly into that as well. A team that has a couple losses, but you've got new coaches, you got new people. I mean, you've got a lot of reasons to think this team is going to be super dangerous going forward if they take care of business here against Arkansas. Who you liking that one?
I kind of feel as if Arkansas will have a bit of a bounce back. We've seen them at times struggle in games and then come back the next week and play well. And I think you get a little bit of that hangover that we always see when teams the week after they play Alabama come out maybe a little bit sluggish because it's so physical. I think Arkansas does a poor man's version of what Alabama does in terms of physicality and everything else. I honestly feel like Arkansas has a darn good chance to win this game. But this LSU team really is one game away from assuring their spot in the SEC championship game. So there's a lot on the horizon for them, but I really kind of like Arkansas in a bounce back situation.
A lot of eyebrows going up in the SEC right now with everything going on. I mean, you certainly love where Georgia is, and you feel like they're definitely the bell cow of that league. But everybody else, there's a ton of parity. And I don't put Tennessee in that category. I think Tennessee's head and shoulders above everybody right now, except Georgia on their home field.
Yep.
But
yeah, if that game was in Knoxville last week, Tennessee probably won.
I mean, maybe they win. I don't know. Georgia, it's a good argument for sure. I mean, Georgia looked like the better team, and Tennessee. I thought the announcers, who I don't love on that game, did a really good job of pointing out. It just looked like Georgia was comfortable in that game. Of course, it's easy to be comfortable when you're at home.
Sure.
With 80,000 or whatever screaming, barking people. I've been to Georgia games, the worst thing in the world. I mean, they're barking literally.
And you got 70 kids on your sideline that won a national championship a year ago. They're not going to
exactly. Yeah, and so they get it. Tennessee, like it or not, is new to this world where everybody's watching and everything's on the line. And at times during that game, they look like that. I mean, they look like a team that was. And by the way, let's not forget where this team came from. They should look like that. I mean, they're on some serious drugs over there in Knoxville. If this team shows up and bows their chest out and says, we don't care for Georgia. I mean, at some point when things don't go the right way, you may make some mistakes, some mental errors that you won't make going forward simply based on the fact you're new to this everybody's watching environment. That doesn't take away the fact how good this team is. But yeah, now you got teams like LSU coming up. Alabama that everybody's just so comfortable with saying how great they are. Well, how good is this? They could have 4 losses, Brandon.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
they could have lost to A&M and Texas,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, where are they? I mean, this is a middle-of-the-road team, possibly. Now, of course, you got to make the plays, but, I mean, that's not looking great for them. LSU, Arkansas, LSU 7-1 straight up their last 8 games. The total's gone under 5 of the last 6 games in this series when they go play at Arkansas, and under. Let's see, the trends have all gone under 4 of the last 5 games in the series total. So typically, this is a defensive battle, and that's exactly where I would look. That's going to be your first free winner of the day. Which, by the way, free winner's still doing really well. So go ahead and play under in that one. As I think this will be more of a defensive struggle. Total 63.5. That's a ton of offense. Ooh. And I think that Arkansas will have some success offensively, but they typically are not a quick strike team. So I go ahead and take under the 63.5. That's your first free winner of the day. 800-298-30. Don't even call it. Don't even do it.
Don't call. Don't email. Just go to the website.
Just you want to win, go to fatjacksports.com. Get signed up. The plays are text to your cell phone. They're emailed to you immediately. You're going to win this weekend. You're going to win today. And you're going to see what it actually means to get consistent winning plays from somebody that, by the way, is not sitting in, I don't know, some cubicle in New Jersey trying to sell crap to you. I'm actually covering the NFL in Munich right now from a gambling perspective for a national TV show that, by the way, is being picked up by markets every single month, called Beat the Odds. I've been vetted by everybody. I'm on Sirius. I'm on ESPN all over the country. I'm on ESPN National, Chicago, New York, LA. I'm on with Anita Marks, who does shows on both coasts. I have been vetted. I am the best at this. You can get my plays. You just have to go get signed up at fatjacksports.com and start winning today. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break, come back, talk about Germany. I'm going to give you kind of a report card for the my experiences in Germany so far. We're going to break down the game a little bit between Tampa Bay and Seattle coming up on Sunday morning, and much, much more. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and it's time to make some money. College basketball starts this week. The NFL is in Munich, Germany, and we are absolutely dialed in. Go to fatjacksports.com, and for less than $100 a week, stop guessing and stop losing. You can make money betting the games. They're text to your cell phone. They're emailed to you. All you have to do is place the wagers, and you're going to make money. Less than $100 a week to win at fatjacksports.com. Get through the end of the month, only $399, and make money betting the games at fatjacksports.com.
Hey, it's Brandon Rush from the Fat Jack Sports Service. If you want to stay in touch with everything related to the Fat Jack, follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. We are there at Fat Jack Sports. You can also watch the Fat Jack Sports Hour on YouTube every weekend. Plus, see funny clips from the show, see Jack's appearances on the nationally syndicated TV show Beat the Odds, and get primed for more profit every week with Bets and Breakfast, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. only on YouTube. Stay connected to the Fat Jack at Fat Jack Sports on all the socials and on YouTube. Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Now here is our host, a man who loves a good schnitzel. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you, Brandon, so much. Fat Jack Sports Hour. Segment number 2. In fact, I don't love a great schnitzel. I don't even.
I figured you was a schnitzel guy.
I love what is it? Pork? It's not pork. It is. I do love a great. You're right. I do love a great schnitzel.
Okay.
I was thinking that was the pasta stuff. That's kind of pasta, not pasta. Yeah, I do know. I do love a schnitzel. I love the pork schnitzel and that type of stuff. I found some really good stuff. I'm going to talk. Go follow me on the social media platforms. Follow Brandon also at Brandon Rush. But follow me at Fat Jack Sports on Twitter, on Instagram, especially Twitter this week. There'll be a lot coming up from Munich, from Germany, and at Fat Jack Sports there, including break down some of the cuisine. We talk about the pretzels, the different things there. There's this thing called a Schnitzenball, which is basically snowball. It's like a funnel cake wrapped up into a ball they dip in chocolate or powdered sugar or whatever. We talk about that. Those are good. And a lot of other things. I actually interview a friend of mine from high school that is in the military, has been in the military over here. He's lived in Germany for 32 years.
Oh, wow.
A lot of that will be going up. And so he has seen it all. He's seen the evolution. You know, Brandon, that in Germany, that American football is the second most popular sport in this country, behind soccer. 1 out of every 3 German citizens is thought to have watched an NFL game in the last year. It's very, very popular.
That is a staggering number that I did not in the last. I would think maybe ever. Sure, in the last year.
In the last year, they have a channel that runs the marquee games every single week, and they have since 2015. And so what started happening in 2015 everybody started watching. They love the violence. They love the pageantry. They really like what we like about the NFL, honestly. Sure. And then they also they have their own announcers that are announcing the games, and during break they break it down in German. And then but basically what started happening back in 2015 was back when Seattle was making runs at the Super Bowl along with New England. So there's a ton of Seattle Seahawks fans here. They're by far the most liked team. They actually have a group called the Seattle Seahawkers, and they're a German club that you can join, and they go to the London games when they're there. They come to America once a year. They have thousands of members. And so it's not a coincidence that Seattle's here playing on Sunday. As a country, it's been an interesting spot. By the way, go to fatjacksports.com. I'll break down this game here in just a minute, give you a free winner in it. But as a country, first time I'd been to Germany, the first thing that struck me is that a lot of their words have the word sex or fart in them. Like Aussenfahrt.
Okay.
That's exit.
I mean, you look at the base of the word. I can put that together. Sure.
Well, I mean, it's easy to remember if you think about the functionality of both.
It's an enter, not it's an exit, not an enter.
It's an exit only. Exactly right. So I mean, you can get there with it, but I thought that was interesting. I thought that Germany. The only thing I knew about Germany is that they persecuted and tried to rid the world of Jewish people.
Yes.
And that they had fast cars. I've been on the Autobahn, by the way, a number of times now. The Autobahn is a number of highways here, and it is a different world. I mean, you got people going 80 miles an hour, and you got people going 150.
Nice.
I mean, they are flying by me. I mean, I'm an 80, and you don't get the fast lane. It's not optional here. You stay out of the fast lane. If you're in the fast lane and you're going 80, you're going to die. You just don't do it. You get right. I didn't see any wrecks, though, but people literally are cruising along at 150 miles an hour. That's been interesting. The people are great. It's a beautiful country. It really is. It's a really pretty country, very hilly, very green. I've enjoyed my time here so far. Now, I'll tell you, the hotels are a joke. I mean, I'm in a 5 or 4.5 star right now. I feel like I'm in prison. There's 2 beds pushed up next to each other.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not. That's the second place I've had that. The last place I stayed was in a fortress with a wall around it. It's literally one of the Nazi strongholds. It's not now. It's just a cute little town. But back in the day, it was a Nazi stronghold. Which it's so repulsive, that whole thing.
Gives you the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
It really is hard to get over, Brand. I can't watch Antique Roadshow here.
Yeah.
I can't watch anything where they're talking. I don't even like talking to old people here. I mean, I don't mean to be that way, but when I talk to somebody,
you just want to skew your conversations toward a younger crowd.
Younger crowd. That's right. I look for minorities and young people to try to talk, because I don't. If you're 87, at the very minimum, you know somebody that was on board.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that to me, like I said, I'm trying not to generalize anything, but it really is. That's been a tough go, but I'm getting through it because it is a beautiful country. They love America. I say love. They like Americans. They are super nice.
They like Americans a lot more than French people do.
I get that. I go to France. I don't have any problems, but I hear that a lot from people. And people do go over there, and the French can be a little bit off-putting.
Sure.
And a little rude. I think I'm a little off-putting and rude. So I don't even know. That's probably my world. They're probably off.
That's why they don't think you're American.
That's right. Yeah, they think I'm just some fat Irish guy that wandered too far south or something.
And knows how to conjugate extra.
Exactly. You know what? If need be, I can. So, fatjacksports.com, $99 if you're signing up for the weekend on Saturday. Less expensive, longer packages are very, very inexpensive. Get signed up today and start winning. This game coming up on Sunday here, Seattle, Tampa. We had talked about, we had Tampa last week, minus the points. They really late pulled one out. What are your thoughts on this game? It's early morning, 8:30 Central, I think. We fell back, which is another element to this. So what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I think Seattle is in that second tier of NFC teams that have a legit shot at going to the Super Bowl. As weird as that sounds, with Geno Smith and a really kind of patchwork roster, this is a team that I think is going to be a tough out for anybody once the playoffs do come around. They've been far and above expectations, and last week I think was a prime example of that, because you look back at a game where they're on the road, you think they know that they're getting ready to go overseas. They had every opportunity to go out and just be flat against a team that needed a win, and they just go out and do what they do. They play sound football. They're a fun team to watch. I conversely, single Tom Brady is 1-0. Just throwing it out there.
Since the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, the divorce is final. So hey,
You think he's got a rebound yet? Is he hooking up with anybody else?
Nah, I don't think so. Not yet.
Too soon. It's like talking about the Nazis. It's too soon.
Come February. I mean, we may see pictures of Tom hanging out with Leonardo
Kim Kardashian.
No, I wouldn't go that far. That's a whole other curse that we don't need to discuss, especially considering where you're located currently. But I think that there's a good chance that we see him hanging out with Leonardo DiCaprio come February, and then he's linked to somebody else. But as of right now, Tom Brady undefeated as a single man.
Yeah, I mean, it takes some time, right? You got to get over where you've been, I suppose. People will drive off the road when they hear you say that about Seattle. They are 6-3. I think it's just so hard for people's ego to think a team can come that far. That they had been bad and were expected to be worse.
And especially after you give up a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, and so it's hard for people to wrap their brain around that. I will never say that a statement like that is crazy, only because the long shots that get there all at some point during the year, and even this late. I mean, where was Cincinnati at this point to win the Super Bowl last year?
Or easily 25 or 30 to win.
Yeah, so I mean, there are teams that get hot, and they certainly are that team that we talk about being ahead of the curve in a gambling perspective, being able to be out in front, because by the time everybody catches up, there's no value with teams. So you want to stay out in front, and this is absolutely a team that if you believe what you've been seeing, which is super hard for people to do that, and sometimes it's a bad idea, but this team has done nothing but check the boxes when it comes to getting better and improving. As you said, basically playing sound football against teams that haven't been that sound. This will be a tough spot for them. They come over here to Munich. They're coming on Thursday. I think they're coming Thursday. I know Tampa's coming on Thursday. That's a 6:30 start time in Seattle. Have somebody who's here right now taping this show, it's 1:00 in the morning. It is really difficult to get acclimated at such a short time. It's been an ongoing debate, these London games and German game, this first German game, the first time they played here, on when do you come over? Do you try to get acclimated, or do you just suck it up, go do your best, play the weekend, and then stay on schedule, at least from a sleep perspective, going forward? How many games are you willing to give up to try to win one game on the road? It's been an ongoing debate. The teams that have done a better job of coming over early, getting acclimated, have played better in this spot. It doesn't necessarily mean they play better going forward. So that's going to be an interesting thing, how Seattle approaches that. The other problem becomes, I guess here's my point. I think they could show up and play bad here at 6:30 in the morning, Seattle time, and still be the type of team you're talking about. Sure. And you'll get better money at 6-4 than you.
Yeah. I was going to say, this won't ruin their season if they go there and lay an egg.
And I think that's been the overall theme for all the teams that have gone to London and come here. And one thing that we don't talk about in this is that we just fell back. Everybody hates it. You know who doesn't fall back? Europe does not fall back. So the game that would have been 7:30 in the morning is now 6:30 in the morning, because Europe doesn't give a crap about falling back. They don't care about the farm. By the way, there's a lot more farmers here than there are in Seattle. But there's farmers everywhere. And they're not falling anywhere. And so all you did was get another hour earlier that you got to play football against a team that people could say, as you said, maybe settling down a little bit, maybe looking better. Evans goes down the first part of that game. We'll see where he ends up. He came back and played some, but they need more offense. Their defense is pretty good. And I just think this is a really tough spot for Seattle. It's because of all the things we said.
Right. And it's a spot where you want to go because of the nature of the game. You're a professional, you want to go play well, but I'm sure there's guys that if they were to lose this game knowing that they got a bye next week, I don't know that it'll affect them mentally that much.
Yeah, I mean, you always don't want to lose. It's not optional whether they come over here or not. They were an easy, obvious selection. Um, but yeah, it's not one of those games that I think really derails either of these teams. No matter who loses this game, you'll have a ton of excuses on your 97-hour flight home or whatever it is to talk about why things went bad and why that won't continue going forward. And as you said, especially with a bye on board, total's gone under the total 5 of the last 6 games when Seattle has played Tampa at home. This isn't at home, although Seattle is the home team. And 4 of the last 5 Tampa games have gone under the total. Tampa is one of those teams we talked about last week that their defense is really good, top 10 defense in the league, and they offensively consistently are not finding their way. And the game they went over, actually, of that 1 of the last 5 was a late, insignificant total going over. So I think this game stays under as well because all the things we talked about. What we saw last in the London games is that the defenses didn't travel as well. And in the second half, they kind of got exposed. There's always a danger that anytime you have these unknowns, and coming to Germany is absolutely an unknown, you don't know which side the ball is going to really be affected more. The anticipation would be, though, offense would struggle a little bit more with timing things. Defense, you can rotate enough guys in, especially when you get a team like Tampa that's a favorite, by the way, in a game that is should be a neutral site. If anything, you could argue is the Seattle home field advantage with the crowd. Yet Tampa's a favorite based on what? This team had lost 3 in a row, and they were down until the very end of the game against the Rams, who have really struggled this year. So what did we see that we all of a sudden think Tampa's a favorite? Well, what we saw is that Vegas thinks Tampa wins this game based on their trajectory, what they're doing right. And I promise you, factored into that, the fact that Seattle's going to be playing at 6:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. So I agree with them. I actually lean toward Tampa in the game, and I definitely like under as your second free winner of the day. FatJackSports.com, less than $100 a week for the longer packages. Add college basketball now. Do not wait. There's a lot of volume in college basketball, 2-3 plays a night, sometimes 5 a night. Sometimes we will make a ton of money over the course of the season. Those plays cost less than $20 a week for the longer packages. Even through the end of the month, it's only $100 from today through the 30th of November for college and NBA basketball to be added to your football package. So $3.99 for football, $4.99 football and hoops gets you everything through the end of November. That is going to get you into you're going to be winning by the time we get past Thanksgiving and you're sick of your in-laws and sick of your brother-in-law and all those people. You're going to be making money, and that's going to help things. So go to FatJackSports.com, sign up today, get plays text to your cell phone or email to you, and start winning. I'm in Germany, where whatever time of day it is for you, it is not that for me.
About
for sure.
7 hours ahead.
It's 7 from Central Time. So, yeah, I've been spending as much time on the West Coast as I have in the middle of the country. But after we fell back, it was one more reason to hate falling back. It was 5 and 6 when I got here. And then by the next day or 2 days later, it was 6 and 7. Try talking to your daughter who's in California when she's got her ridiculous schedule, trying to go out and do all the things she does. And she's literally coming in. I'm getting up the next day. It's
2 ships passing in the night. You're going to bed. She's just getting out.
Honestly, if I moved here, I don't know how you have a relationship with anybody on the West Coast. It'd be really difficult. They could pretty much do crack. I wouldn't know it. So,
do you fly over? I mean, when you come back, do you fly over the North Pole? What's the trajectory here?
Here I go. I'm going to Miami. I go to Charles de Gaulle, which is in Paris, for an hour, and then I go to Miami, looking at a couple of boats down there. I'll be there for a day, and then I go to California, or go to Las Vegas to tape next week's show. Beat the Odds, which you need to be tuning into if you're around the country. It's on the Yes Network. I found out that the Yes Network, it's actually all over the country, lots of stations nationwide, but it's on the Yes Network on Saturdays. Typically, they run it a couple of times. Normally, it's very well received, especially in the Northeast, New York, New Jersey. But the Yes Network is on a lot of cable packages. I've had people reach out and seen me different places and said, "Hey, you're that guy from that show. Beat the Odds," because I guess the Yes Network runs like in Lawton, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, and those type of places around the country. So if you have the Yes Network, definitely go in and TiVo it, or it's not TiVo anymore, but whatever it is, tape it. It's not tape, but whatever.
DVR.
DVR it. keep it, watch it later. We'll give away free winners on that. We both swept the board last week again. People are making free money off that show, so it is a very educational show. Besides being entertaining, this week I talked to a military guy. I talked to a local that owns a hotel about American football, about pretzels, about beer, a lot. A little bit of lederhosen. I was going to wear lederhosen, and it got nixed by the brass at the network.
They wouldn't let you dress up the way you want to for Halloween. They wouldn't let you wear lederhosen. I'm really beginning to wonder here.
I said, you know what my next stop is? Fans only. I'm going fans only. You know, there's a market for this, and if you people aren't going to let me, run my freak flag up the pole, I'm fans only in this bad boy.
You know what? We should start an OnlyFans, but it's just, it's the podcast version of the show.
I should definitely learn what it's called before
it would be beneficial, but
it's OnlyFans. You know what, Karen, get on that. We're going to fans only it, or OnlyFans it. I'm going to show my feet on Wednesdays, and I'm going to dress up in costumes on Fridays. So.
The possibilities here are,
man. Brandon, I'm bringing you in, brother. You don't think there's a market that wants to see you dressed up in a tutu and some ballet shoes? You have lost your mind.
I mean, I'll get a pedicure. I'm not against it.
Getting ready to get weird in the offseason, folks. So stay tuned for more on that. Total defense in the NFL. San Francisco's number 1, then Denver, then Philadelphia. I look at those numbers because anytime I talked about this last week, when these teams play each other, it's time to bet under. I mean, this is the time of year. Markets won't catch up to this. And Buffalo's still 4th in the league in total defense. How about Indianapolis? How are they doing offensively? Good stuff?
I mean, they fire their head coach, and then, first they bring in Matt Ryan. Doesn't really get production because Jonathan Taylor's been hurt. The receivers have been atrocious. They bench him for Sam Ehlinger, and then a couple weeks later, they fire Frank Reich. Now they have Jeff Saturday, who was on TV literally Monday morning, and Monday afternoon, he's the head coach of the Colts. Now they get to go and play a Raiders team who is not good either. So, yeah, that's an offensive just – what's the opposite of a juggernaut?
You know what? I'm in Germany. I should figure that out. I mean, that's got to be a German word, right?
I'm going to Google that real quick. Is juggernaut a German word?
You know it is. It's got too many augs and ergs in it not to be German. Yeah, Indianapolis averaging 16 points a game, and then they, in their infinite wisdom, they fire their offensive coordinator like that's going to fix anything. They bust off a 3-pack their next time out, score 3 points, so let's get rid of Frank Reich. Yeah, Jeff, let's hire an offensive lineman. He'll fix our offense. That's a good idea. They're an auto underplay. New England's an auto underplay. Unless they play somebody that's really, really good offensively, Kansas City, Dallas even, teams that we know are going to score. Those type teams, they're very, especially New England, very well coached. Don't like I on the show, I released under in last week in the New England game. It was one of the easier plays on the board.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Tennessee, Houston, those are
there's a bunch of teams that either have really bad offenses or really good defenses, and some of them have both, and that's perfect. Indianapolis is fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth in total defense, and if they're not last in offense, I don't know who is. I mean, they're really, really low. So that they're not going to score, and they're going to stop a bunch of people. And I don't think it matters who coaches that team. So they're definitely an underplay. Other teams in the NFL to look at just some general trends to take advantage of. Look for teams that are on the ascension, teams that had started out slow. A team like New Orleans has been playing better. Some of these teams, they trade coaches, they trade their marquee players. They got big issues, some injuries. But they find their groove this time of year. We saw Cincinnati about this time of year get it going a year ago. Not expecting the same thing this year. A team like Jacksonville came back and won, so they might be getting it going. So look for some of those teams that maybe have turned the corner a little bit. I'll tell you who's become a real surprise team and a little bit dangerous are the Bears, Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, Fields is putting up some numbers right now, and they're, about 15th in the league in total defense. It's not as good. They obviously traded away before the trade deadline a couple of their great players, but they're still getting it done enough to be middle of the pack defensively. So when they play a bad offensive team going forward, might look for under in that game, or certainly playing the Bears, because the Bears are going to score some points. So
Justin Fields had the greatest rushing day by a quarterback in regular season history last week.
Yeah, and you hate to turn a lot of the recency bias
Sure.
and put too much into that, because it does take obviously more than one game. But it's certainly a sign. It's something you can look at. And that's the key with making money, guys. Go to fatjacksports.com. You want to make money. If you want to try to sift through the information, you're looking for things that you may not take advantage of now, but in a couple of weeks, you might. And preferably what you want is a down spot. So a good example is this Munich game. I would love nothing more than Seattle to go over and lay an egg, because I'm with you. I think this team is on the right trajectory and they're doing things the right way. So after they get done, if they lose, that recency bias, people are going to remember how bad they look. So they lost 27-10 or something. They come back, they get a bye week, they reset. That's a team you want to take advantage of that week. So you don't always turn around and bet it the next week or whatever. You wait a couple weeks for some of that information, unless you've got just some general stuff that automatically is existing every single week out. Like India's not going to score any points. It doesn't matter what's going on or who's coaching their team. So a couple of those teams, they're off this week, so we'll have to wait till next week to take advantage of. But there will be a lot of spots to make money. Go to fatjacksports.com and get those plays. $3.99 everything through the end of the month. $4.99 football and hoops through the end of the month. Add the UFC. It's about $20 a week for the longer packages. It's going to make you money. Along with everything else, you can make money betting the games. You just can't do it by guessing. Brandon, how are we doing on time?
We got about a minute left. Turns out juggernaut not a German word. It's actually from Sanskrit, but the German word for juggernaut is
juggernaut.
Did you hear this?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard it. Every word they say sounds exactly like that. I can't tell the difference. And by the way, I don't know who gave out my number on these texts from these political people, but I've had enough of that too. God. I don't want to be text. I'm not reading it, and if anything, it makes me not want to vote for you. So in your little thing in the future, if you're texting me and I have not told you to text me, the one thing I'm doing is making a list. And I'm not going to vote for you. So that is doing the opposite of whatever you think it's doing. So don't text me unsolicited. I don't want anybody to unsolicitedly contact me. I don't even want I don't even want people calling me. I don't.
Let me live in a hole and
thank you.
And live on a boat and bet games and leave me the hell alone.
Produce winners for myself and my clients. That is my life. I don't care about dangerous so-and-so who wants more strip clubs. I'm not into that. So don't text me. Just sign up and then start winning. That's what I want you to do. That's what I'm doing. And I think theirs are going pretty well. So go to fatjacksports.com. If you're betting these games, get signed up and start winning today. This is the podcast edition of the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Thank you guys for joining in, and download the podcast, the show. If you're working out, feel the burn. If you're betting the games.
Yeah, like 5 minutes left. You just push through.
That's right. 4 or 5 minutes, depending on whether we get on a story or not. You're going to get some free winners during that. So commit these to memory. You're going to work the body and the mind over the next few minutes. Brandon, who's your first pick?
First pick this week is going to be in the college ranks. Illinois has been a godsend, really, for Big Ten football fans, because Brett Bielema back in where he belongs. His tenure at Arkansas was not great, but getting him back into an area of the country that he knows well, he can recruit to, and stylistically kind of matches up. This week, Illinois, a 6.5-point home favorite against Purdue. Boilermakers, Jack, not that great. They're even though they're 5-4, they continue to find ways to not be competitive. They gave up 37 to Nebraska a couple weeks ago. Gave up 29 to Maryland. They are on 3 of their last 4 wins. A lot of points being scored, but I just don't think stylistically they're going to be able to match up against Illinois. So I'm going to take the Illini -6.5 at home.
Well, both these teams crapped the bed last week, so it's definitely a good spot as far as getting some value. I was with you. I thought this Illinois team was better, or I should say better. They've done a lot right. Defensively, they're really next level good, but they, turn the ball over, you're going to lose games when you can't score many points. So I don't think that's a bad play at all. I'm going to look at USC giving 34.5 to one of the worst teams in college football. This Colorado team, not good, especially when they get away from home. They're 1-8 on the year. They are playing a USC team that likes to put their foot on their throat and wants to stay relevant in a conference that's really not. 8-1 against 8-1 straight up USC is, and when they can beat teams by 100, they typically have been. They're averaging about 50 a game when they play a bad football team. Colorado's at least a bad football team, and more importantly, they're bad offensively. So they're not going to score a bunch of points. I think USC wins by way more than 33.5 or 34. Play the Trojans minus the points is my first one.
Colorado should be so much better. I mean,
right?
Boulder is infinitely a better college town than a lot of people give it credit for. They should be able to recruit better, and honestly, coaching plays a lot into that. But goodness grief, they should be so much better.
Yeah, they for some reason, I mean, you go up there, it seems like a place you'd want to play. The fan base is a little bit complacent. Most of them are stoned, so you're definitely going to get a lot of laughing going on at the games.
Sure,
because everybody at those games are high. And the Coors factory is right down the road in Golden. So I mean, you got a lot of factors working against you. But yeah, from a football standpoint, they should certainly be better than 1-8.
Absolutely. For my second pick this week, I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans, 3-point home favorites against Denver. The Broncos are bottom 10 in the league against the run. Derrick Henry left, Derrick Henry right, Derrick Henry middle, Derrick Henry all day. The Titans proved last week, even with Malik at quarterback, that they're going to be a tough out for somebody in the postseason. They're going to sneak up and get somebody. They're classes ahead of where Denver is right now, and the running game is the focal point of their offense. And if they start getting that little option game going where everyone's keen on Henry, you get Malik around the edge, they could be scoring some points. I just don't see how, even with the overtime loss to Kansas City over the weekend, how they can come back and not just blow out the Broncos.
If Denver doesn't score some points in this one, they really have some big problems. I mean, Tennessee's given up 363 yards a game. They're middle of the road defensively, and Denver should get some stops. I'm not saying they can win because I do not believe they are going to be able to score a lot offensively, but they should be able to based on where Tennessee's been defensively. And the problem with betting that game is you have to watch it too. I don't know.
Do you though?
I mean, yeah, you're right. Just bet it and walk on. Go back to the treadmill or whatever you guys are doing out there. Do that. I've got a new auto bet I've decided until further notice. I'm going to give away for free for the next couple of weeks is the over in the Oklahoma Sooners versus anybody. This team can't stop anybody. West Virginia has a highly touted quarterback. They had some injuries, but a lot of those injuries have been defensively, especially at linebacker. I think Oklahoma will score and continue to score points. But I'm not sure they could stop anybody, Brent. This is a team that doesn't have a lot of heart. Brent Venables said it in his press conference. They're not playing good defensively. They don't come up and fill the run. They don't turn things back in. He's got to get some of his kids on campus to start believing in what he's doing. And right now, you can't fix that.
No.
At week 10, that's not a thing.
You're in Germany right now. That's like trying to
learn German by the time I leave.
Or hey, on the Autobahn, you got a 72 Chevelle. You need Ferraris.
Yeah, and you can't turn into a Ferrari by week 10. Now in the offseason, I can go pick one up.
You can go in the transfer portal, go get some JUCO guys, sure. But
what he's going to do. And you want an interesting fact as an Oklahoma Sooner fan, see how many players that are starting on that side of the ball this year versus next year. And I don't care about graduation, attrition, and he is going to bring in his kids. For sure. Brent Venables has a type athlete that will get it done, and they've got type athletes that Lincoln Riley recruits that are soft, and the kissing their mamas. I mean, that's what they've got going there. They got guys that are soft. They're a little prima donna. They don't come up and fill. They're aren't hard.
They're speed first, not muscle and heart. Yeah.
Nobody is eating nails on that defense, and Brent wants people who are only eating nails. That's it. They're not eating any meat, any vegetables, just nails. And he's got a bunch of dudes that, you're right, they're fast, but they're not eating enough nails. He'll go in the junkyard. I promise you. Off season, Brent's going to the junkyard because he get some kids out there that are nasty and get them to at least play his brand of defense, which the good news for Sooner fans offensively, they're doing fine. Over the 66.5 versus West Virginia. That's my second one. Got thoughts, Brandon?
I'm ready for another weekend. We get closer to Thanksgiving. A fall wedding outside this weekend. But it's a Friday. So I don't have to worry about college football, but it's an outdoor wedding in November. So I got that going against me.
I would go to that one. And I would not load up all the crab cakes. I appreciate the effort. That's somebody who wants to get married in football season for whatever reason. And they say, you know what, but I get it. Nobody's going to want to be here if I do it on Saturday. So I'm going to do it on Friday, and they'll miss a Friday night fun game or whatever. And that's fine. I'll miss playoffs, whatever. If you have to, you have to. But I'm going to leave your Saturday to yourself. That couple, they get a slow clap, Brandon. When you get there, give them a slow clap. So, congratulations to them, and I hope their marriage actually works. Where if you're getting married on Saturday, kind of pulling against you.
Over under 4 years, yeah.
I'm kind of because somebody has given in. for the most part, because nobody's agreeing to do that. But you can't get both parties and the guy paying for all to agree. Somebody likes football for sure. We're almost to the Pro Bowl. Get married that week. So, guys, have a great week. Wager responsibly. Don't drink and drive until next week. For Brandon the Fat Jack, this has been the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and it's time to make some money. College basketball starts this week. The NFL is in Munich, Germany, and we are absolutely dialed in. Go to fatjacksports.com, and for less than $100 a week, stop guessing and stop losing. You can make money betting the games or text to your cell phone. They're emailed to you. All you have to do is place the wagers, and you're going to make money. Less than $100 a week to win at fatjacksports.com. Get through the end of the month, only $399, and make money betting the games at fatjacksports.com.